everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel Healing Nutrifil. I'm Dr. Humera and I'm a dermatology resident. So today we'll be talking about the most common and most notorious dermatological condition, that is melasma. We'll be talking about what is melasma, what are the causes of melasma and what are the treatment options available for it. So without wasting any further time, let's get into the video. So what is melasma? Melasma is an acquired hyperpigmentary disorder in which hyperpigmentary patches are formed over your sun-exposed regions, that is your malar region, nose and cheeks, even your forehead and chin can be affected. Now, what are the causes that are responsible in causing melasma? The first and foremost important factor that is responsible is sun exposure. See, the light that is coming from the sun has various spectra, out of which ultraviolet radiations and visible light are responsible in causing melasma. The second most important factor is genetics. See, the melasma can run in your families. Your mother, your grandmother may have melasma. Also, the genetic predilection is more common in men, although melasma is less common in men as compared to women. The third most important factor is OCPs, the women who take oral contraceptive pills. So what happens is that when a woman takes OCPs, the receptors of estrogen and progesterone over the skin are activated and that is responsible in producing more melasma, ultimately causing more hyperpigmentation. The next few factors that are responsible in causing melasma are, by low vitamin D3 levels, low zinc levels and also hypothyroidism. So melasma is a multifactorial disorder. There is just not one factor you could say that this factor is causing melasma, although sun exposure is thought to be the most common. Now coming to the types of melasma. There are three types of melasma, that is epidermal, dermal and mixed. Okay, so when I talk about skin, there are various layers of skin. The uppermost layer of the skin is known as epidermis. So in this layer only the pigment producing cells, that is melanocytes, are present which produce melanin, and that is responsible for imparting skin color to different individuals. Some people are dark, some people are fair. This is because of this melanin. If somehow this melanin is overproduced, then this is responsible in causing melasma. Okay, so if the pigment producing cells are confined to epidermis only, then this is known as epidermal melasma. If somehow these melanocytes seeps down into the dermis, then it will result in dermal melasma. Also, there will be proliferation of blood vessels in dermis. There will be increased proliferation of dermal cells that are fibroblasts. Okay, so this is epidermal and dermal melasma. Now, how will you differentiate between these two? Now, with the help of naked eye only you will be able, because epidermal melasma will be of little lighter color. Okay, it will be little brownish discoloration, light brown color, whereas epidermal melasma will be of darker color. Also, epidermal melasma will respond better to treatment, whereas dermal melasma is really notorious and it is very difficult to treat. Okay. Also, you can use a device, okay, that is known as Wood's lamp, to differentiate between epidermal and dermal melasma. In epidermal melasma, the margins are well accentuated. You will see the borders, whereas in dermal melasma, the borders are not accentuated. They are rough. Okay. Also, if both epidermal and dermal melasma is present, that is known as mixed melasma. So these are the types of melasma. Now coming to what are the treatment options that are available in treating melasma. So as I have told you, the sun exposure is the most important factor in causing melasma. So you have to avoid sun exposure as much as possible. See, melasma is a very notorious disease. As I have told you, it is something which is very difficult to treat and you have to make your lifestyle modifications. It is not just one or two creams that you will use and your melasma will disappear. No, you have to make a routine. You have to make a lifestyle modifications. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to include a broad spectrum sunscreen in your daily routine. That is 30 plus or 50 plus SPF sunscreen. Okay. You have to apply full 2 fingers before going out in sunlight. That is half an hour before going out. Full 2 fingers over your face as well as your neck. Okay. Also, to those people who are staying indoors, this is mandatory for you guys also to apply sunscreen. Now many people will ask me why we are not going out, why we should apply sunscreen. This is because even your tube lights, your bulbs also emit visible rays, and also the UVA spectrum can easily penetrate from your window panes. Okay, so it is very mandatory to apply sunscreen even if you are not going out. Okay, also you have, if you are planning for some holidays, some beach vacations, then you should always wear full sleeve clothes. Okay, brimmed hats, goggles. So you have to protect your skin, okay, with the help of sunscreen and sun protective measures. Also, you have to include moisturizer in your daily routine, okay, because moisturizing your skin will provide barrier to your skin, okay, that will help to fight against anything that comes in contact with your skin. Okay, so moisturization as well as sunscreen is something that is of utmost important. Also, it has been seen that tinted sunscreen are working really better in melasma because tinted sunscreen contain ferric oxide, which is responsible for reducing pigmentation. Okay, although you can use any broad spectrum sunscreen, I'll make a broad proper video of the sunscreen of what are the better sunscreens. Okay, so this has been seen that tinted sunscreens are working better in melasma. Next thing that you can use for melasma are hydroquinone based creams. See, hydroquinone based creams are something that you should always use under the guidance of your dermatologist, because if you start using your hydroquinone or other steroid based creams without the guidance, then it will cause atrophy of your skin, thinning of your skin, will cause more of hyperpigmented patches on your skin, and even hypopigmented white patchy discoloration of your skin, thinning of your skin, which is something that you don't want, right? So always use such creams under the guidance of your dermatologist. Okay, so hydroquinone based creams are used in the starting. It may cause mild erythema, in the starting, but it's okay, your skin will adopt. Also, you can use further more better creams like triple combinations, which are the combination of tretinoin, fluocinolone, which is a mild steroid, and well as hydroquinone. Okay, so we can use this for around 1 to 2 months, and it might cause mild erythema and thinning of the skin, but that is temporary. After 1 to 2 months, we can shift to better creams, which are depigmented creams. Depigmented creams are something which you can use for longer terms. Okay, they are very safe. Okay, depigmented creams are something which can be used in pregnancy as well as lactations. So depigmented creams that are used which are most commonly used these days are azelaic acid, arbutin, okay, glycolic acid, okay, and then coumarin are used. Okay, so azelaic acid is something which is safe in pregnancy, comes under the concentration of around 20%. Then kojic acid can be used, which comes under the concentration of 2%. It's a very good depigmenting cream. Okay, then coumarin is used and arbutin is used, even niacinamide is used. Okay, niacinamide has an extra benefit that it will cause decrease in vasculature, decrease in erythema also. Okay, so niacinamide is used. Glycolic acid is used, but if you are using in higher concentration, that is 6% or 12%, then always use such creams under the guidance of your dermatologist, and it should be used twice weekly. Okay, so these are all about depigmentation. See, tretinoin can also be used. So what tretinoin does is it will cause increased epidermal turnover, that is increased shedding of your skin, okay, and will cause lighter skin. So tretinoin is a very good alternative and can be used in combination of various other creams and is used at night. Okay, so the next thing that can be used, there's a wonder drug, that is tranexamic acid. Tranexamic acid is something that is always a second alternative. It's never used as a first line drug. It is always used as a second line drug. When other depigmenting creams or other steroid triple combination fails, then you can use tranexamic acid. It comes under oral intradermal forms, and orally around 500 mg per day can be given. Especially tranexamic acid injections are given to those patients who want immediate relief. Okay, it is given monthly. Okay, twice monthly also it can be given. It's usually given over your pigmented areas at the distance of around 1 centimeter with the help of intradermal insulin syringe. Okay, insulin syringe you use, and before that you have to apply anesthetic cream and keep the patient for around 45 minutes. After that only you should start giving intradermal injection, and it works like magic. I'm telling you, I have given intradermal injections in so many patients, and it has come, the results are fantastic. I'll attach some of the pictures of the patients, and you can see the difference. Okay, so tranexamic acid, what it does, it will convert blocks the conversion of plasminogen to plasmin. Okay, so plasmin is something which is also seen in the melanocytes. Okay, so if it will block the conversion of plasmin, ultimately the melanin production is decreased. So tranexamic acid is something which is in fact used to reduce the bleeding disorder. So if a patient is having any bleeding disorder, coagulation disorder, you have to ask, you have to take a proper history of the patient, okay, before starting any medication. What are the treatment duration, if he has taken any other medication, for how long the patient is suffering. Okay, so before prescribing any medication, a proper evaluation, proper history evaluation is mandatory. Okay, if patient is pregnant or not, so all these things should be excluded, and after that only the intradermal injections of the tranexamic acid can be given. Now the next treatment modality that can be used are chemical peels. Okay, so chemical peels also works as an exfoliant, and it will reduce, shed the outermost layer of the skin and causes a new skin which is a flatter color. So various chemical peels that are used are yellow peel, glycolic acid peel, TCA peel. So these all peels should be done under the guidance of the dermatologist. You should not start using these peels yourself. Always go to a dermatologist and they'll tell you what suits you better. Depending upon your skin type, they'll suggest you the peel. Also, the peeling is always combined with other creams. Okay, it's never used alone. Always combined with other creams, then only the penetration is better. And also chemical peels are done, they have monthly sessions. Okay, and usually done if patient want to go to some function or he want immediate relief, then chemical peel is a good choice. Now the second option, the last resort, are laser options. Okay, so laser is something that should always be kept as a last resort, because laser works in different skin. Okay, so in some patients it will cause accentuation of pigmentation, in some it magically disappears the pigmentation. Okay, so laser has various demarcations. In various patients it works differently, because it targets the melanin under your skin, so it will reduce the melanin production. The various lasers that are used are Q-switched Nd:YAG laser, IPL laser. Okay, so these are the lasers, and it requires multiple sessions and also are time consuming. So so I have explained you everything about melasma, what are the causes, what are the treatment modalities available. I hope you found this video helpful. If you do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to not miss any update. Keep following me for many other skin related videos. Until I meet you next time, goodbye, take care.